Hi, Jill here again, and I'm back to show you some more Copic coloring. Obviously I covered the face in the last video, so let's move on to the dress, the kimono. Colors I'm going to be using here are R20, R00, and RV000. Now I tend not to blend things like the R, the RV, different color families, but I don't have R000, so I went with the next best thing. This is such a light color, it actually works good. I'm also using those warm grays again. We're going to use W1, introduce a little bit of W3, and then the colorless blender. So we're going to once again start with the dark color. I'm going to do this part of the kimono for you. I work in sections. So like this one has 3 sections, not counting the areas that will be purple, as well as the hat. You're going to work this as a section here. You'll see what I mean. And again, we're going to do some shading, but really the idea behind this is I want more light in the center of each of these areas. So I'm going to come in with my R20. I'm going to be a little bit more generous. You can go lighter if you want a lighter look. And R20 is actually not that dark of a color. I'm going to leave that as part of her actual arm. I'm going to come in and get this little back part and the creases. And then this I just do very general, and then I cut it to shape it. So again, it doesn't matter if you're going out of the lines, we're going to be cutting this image out. So that's what I do with the R20. We're going to come in with the same exact principle. R00 is going to blend that out towards the center. We don't want to go too far with this. And the R00 is a big jump. It's very light. Again, it's what works for me. You might find that you have different colors. Make those work for you. Because, yeah, I could justify going out and buying more markers, but it's better to make it work. So see, it doesn't blend as much because I am, again, having a big jump there between R00 and R20. You have a different color family with these. I go in a very broad circular motion. And it doesn't matter if I color into the part that I'm going to do purple or on the dragonflies. We're working with very light colors. Normally it would matter. Okay, then you're going to take the RV000 and you're going to get all of the center. Don't blend this one out too much into your R20. You just want it again for your highlight areas because it is a brighter pink. Then we're going to come back in R00 again. Blend it together a little bit more. Then we're going to come in with W1 in some of those highlighted areas. And then we've got some really dark creases in this dress. So we're going to come into those areas with W3. Not a lot. Like especially down here towards the bottom of the dress. And darken it up. Make it look so it's not so bright and shiny. Come back in with your R20 and blend that gray a little into the rest of your R20. Now I do like the way that my colors blend, but I don't like them to bleed all into one, to look like just one color. So you'll notice that everyone has, again, a different amount of lines that they like or don't like. I like a little bit of line in mine. So again, R00. Lastly, we're going to come in with a little bit of 0, put a few highlights right here and right here. And I'm not touching on the paper on all of these, kind of hovering above. Okay, so there we have it. And again, it's nice and aged. I'm going to blend out a little bit of the grays. And I'm going to use the RV000. And that one is almost like a colorless blender. Okay, so let's do our hat. It's another simple little spot. You don't need to watch me do every part of this. But again, R20, the brim of the hat. This is where you're going to have the most dark. And then just a little bit to accent the top of the hat. R00. I'm going to fully blend it. Again, this under part's going to be much darker. And I'm leaving the brim so that we can come in light. RV00. I want the brim, or the top, just a little bit darker. RVW1. I'm sorry, R20, and then W1. It's going on autopilot here. And then again the RV00 to blend all of that out a little bit. And again, be careful with these lighter colors. They are closer to the blender, and sometimes they'll remove your color. So again, you want to play around with them. Find what works best for you. Okay, let's go on to the purple. For the purple, we're using BV13, BV02, and BV000. This is a smaller area. I'm not going to go in too heavy with the color. BV13, a little bit along the edges and the dark spot here. Under here, where you'd have some darkness, and a little bit right down here. RV02 for our blending. And again, when there's a bigger gap, it's a little bit harder to blend, but they will blend. And then BV00 for the lightest spot. And then lastly, a little bit of that blender, and it evens everything out. On the this portion, I actually did very little around each of these, and then more towards where her face would be shadowing. So again, the key to shadowing is picking a light source. Then I come in with the BV02 more towards the bottom. And it's picking up some of the BV13. And then come in with the BV00 and go down into that darker color. And then if you find you need to come back in with the BV13 because you blended some of it out, by all means come back in with it. Okay, and then lastly, BV13, I'm going to do it on the part I've already done. I just gently came in and colored over top of the little tiny dragonflies. Where I'm coming in with the dragonflies and to highlight here, with this darker color, I also went over it with crystal stickles for my finished piece. And I do the purple last. I'm not going to do the purple first and then blend it out into my pinks. Now see where, I don't know if you can see, I have a little tiny spot there. We're going to push that back in with the colorless blender. It gets rid of that purple, pushes it backward to where it belongs. And we're essentially finished. I'll come in and do the arms, but that's what she ends up looking like. So thanks for stopping by. I'll be coming back with some blues, some greens, and then I'm going to branch out into other colors. So have a great day.